What if I told you that all you know about language learning is wrong, and traditional methods of language learning are draining you out, leaving you confused and unable to speak the language, and slowly you become a slave of the study book that traps you in a never-ending torture of grammar drills and useless vocabulary? But what if I told you that there is a secret way that polyglots are hiding from you? The way so efficient that you will go from zero to Shakespeare in just a couple of years. Nah, screw it, 1 year. Or maybe even 6 months if you buy my course. And the best thing is that it's the most natural approach to language learning. You're gonna learn like a baby. Because babies are the best language learners, right? On one hand, we have this useless crap that is designed to make you suffer. And on the other hand, we have this. The pill that is gonna awaken you and turn you from a mommy's little boy to a real Giga Chad. Only one pill that is gonna let the language flow. And this pill is called... Oh, and you may also need this small pill, but, you know, just in case. Actually, you can just ignore it. And I'll just put this one here. It's also not bad. It's okay. And just don't pay attention. I'll put it here. Well, yeah, you got it. And, you know, you can take these from time to time. Feeling frustrated? All right, let me explain. Okay, that was fun, and I hope that you enjoyed the intro. My name is Max, and I'm a dedicated language learner and a dedicated language teacher that have been doing this job for almost a decade now. If you're a language learning enthusiast, just like me, you've probably heard about CI, or Comprehensive Input. Basically, it stands on the idea that you need to consume a lot of content in a target language that is slightly above your current level. And I honestly think that it's a very, very important part of the language learning process. But some people think that CI is the wholesome method and it can bring you to language fluency on its own. But is it as good as people say? A quick fact about me. I live in China for many years now, and I have lots of students of different levels and different ages. Most of them are learning by studying the traditional study books, language study books, and many of them struggle with remembering the standard sentence patterns. And very often it affects their fluency because they know many words, but they struggle to put these words in a sentence. So sometimes they speak like Master Yoda from Star Wars. And in these cases, I really think that CI can really help you to take your language abilities to the next level. By doing a lot of CI through listening of different podcasts or watching videos on the internet or watching movies, they can develop some sort of a feeling of language, or how people in China say, yugan. Basically, it means that when you see this sentence structure, you know that it's right. But you cannot explain it. You just kind of feel that it's right. And when somebody tells you the sentence that is structured wrong, you also can't explain why it is wrong, but you can just feel it. So consuming a lot of content, doing a lot of listening, actually really helps you to develop this feeling of language. And basically, I really think that CI is a critical part of a language learning process. But can we say that it's the only tool that you need to achieve the language fluency and get the desired level of language? Let's take a look at some examples. Sometimes local universities and colleges invite me to host their English corners. And when I talk with them, I realize that they actually do a lot of CI, but somehow it doesn't help them. And this situation when students actually have really rich vocabulary, but you see, it's a passive vocabulary, it's not their active vocabulary. So they can understand a lot and they can read a lot, they can translate a lot, but they really struggle with speaking. It's a lot more common than you may think it is. Another example is Dreaming Spanish. Basically, Dreaming Spanish is a platform that is designed to teach you the language only through the comprehensive input, only by watching different videos for different levels. And they advocate that it is really enough to get you to fluency. And they even tell you not to speak until you consume around 300 or 600 hours of content. And I honestly think that this project is great and it can be an amazing addition to your Spanish language learning routine. But to use it as the only tool of learning the language is... you can actually find many videos on the internet of people doing some sort of reports of their Dreaming Spanish progress. and you can see that they admit that they cannot speak the language. They can barely say even the simplest sentences after hundreds and hundreds of hours of consumed videos. So if you use CI as your only tool, can you learn the language? Yes, but it will be extremely slow. Actually, I was talking about it in another video. I will leave a link somewhere here. And if you're only using CI, your listening comprehension will be far more superior to your speaking abilities. But wait, Max, before you said that consuming a lot of CI helps you to get this feeling of language and just start to understand these patterns of sentences better, right? So why doesn't it improve the speaking abilities? Because I honestly think that speaking is muscle memory. Okay, let me give you a gym bro example. Imagine that you're obsessed with bodybuilding and working out, and you've watched hundreds of videos about doing squats, and once you decided that, okay, the day has come, I need to go there and do my first set of squats. I think you already know what will happen. You will feel extremely uncomfortable and everything will look and feel weird. Why is it so? Because your neural mind-muscle connection is not developed properly yet. And you can develop it only if you do the squats more and more and more. And this is how you actually learn to do the right technique. And you see, once you get used to do the squats, you can go and try to do the leg curls. And guess what? You will have to build the same neural mind-muscle connection again, but now for this exercise. And now you will have to do this exercise again and again and again until you get the right technique. And it's absolutely the same with your mouth. To pronounce the words right, you need to build the right mouth muscle memory. So next time you need to say this word, your lips can do it without your conscious effort, just like, when you're walking. And guess what? If you learn the shitty technique in the exercise in the beginning, it's really hard to learn the proper technique later. And the same with the pronunciation. We really need to pay more attention to our pronunciation when we start learning the language. All right, maybe you are not really into gym bro stuff, so let me give you another example. I have some students who are 4 and 5 years old, and I was teaching them a common sentence, I see a butterfly, I see a banana, anything. And it turned out that one of these kids already learned the sentence, I see you. And every time kids had to say different sentences like, I see a chair, I see a table, I see a book. That kid would say, I see you chair, I see you book, I see you table. So as you understand, he already developed a pretty good muscle memory in saying this specific phrase, and his mouth muscles were constantly trying to replicate the familiar sentence pattern. So in my opinion and experience, speaking fluency is achieved through building and developing a good muscle memory. How? Well, by opening your mouth and speaking.
Oh shit, here we go again.
And you don't need other people to do it actually. So as you can see, CI is a great tool, but there are other very important parts of language learning that we should be aware of. But what if I say that there is something even more important than all of this?
What?
Yeah, something more important than all these magic pills is this. Yeah, let me show it to you clearly. Ba-ba! That's a case to store pills for 6 days. But why is it so important? Because nothing is gonna work if there is no system, if there is no good routine of language learning. So if one day your liver started to work poorly, or any other organ, and you went to see a doctor and doctor prescribed you to drink many vitamins, do you expect to see results after one pill? Or maybe after a week? Or a month? Yeah, probably that's not gonna work. Or maybe you eat one pill this week and then a couple of pills next week, and then you take a short break and then resume drinking pills on the 4th week. Yeah, that will not work as well. And yeah, you guessed it right. You need time to make this course of pills work. And the same applies to language learning. You need a conscious, systematic practice aimed for a long-term success. But many language learners are spending just way too much time looking for a magic pill that is going to unlock their language speaking abilities. And I get it. We all want quick results. But people try one magical method from YouTube after another, and it starts to seem just like nothing works. And sooner or later, a thought crawls into their head. maybe I'm just too dumb for it. Or maybe I just have no talent in languages. But no, in most of the cases you are not patient enough or not consistent enough. Let's go back to my tiny 4-year-old students. I have a group that attends my classes every week. It should be more often, but parents just cannot do it more often. And in that group we have 2 students that do daily homework practice, 2 students that do homework every 2 or 3 days, and 2 students that don't do homework at all. Don't ask me why. They all attend my classes, but after some time we had to separate them and put into different groups. Because students that didn't do homework review, they remembered around 10 to 20% of the learned material and had to relearn a lot of stuff. And kids who did review at home every 2 or 3 days, they remembered around 90 to 95% of all material I taught them. And the students that did daily homework review practice, they not only remembered almost everything I taught them, they also started to learn all the new material a lot faster than others. So if you want to know more about it, you can just Google about the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. And you see, by applying the systematic approach to language learning, we were able to get the worst student in a class to the top 10 students of our campus. And I'm not talking about some like super amazing complicated methods of learning the language. No, I'm talking about just doing regular consistent homework practice. And you can say, yeah, I know about spaced repetition, I use Anki. That's amazing, but your language learning should include all aspects of language. Vocab review, CI, and speaking practice as well. So you can use a lot of fancy YouTube language learning methods, but they're all gonna fail if you're not using them consistently. And if you just take a study book, yeah, the one that everybody hates, and use it systematically and consistently, it will probably give you a lot more results than non-systematic CI consumption. So let's sum up and say the conclusion. The key to language learning is, consistency and systematic approach. And actually, not only in language learning, but in every area of your life. So guys, if you found this info interesting, please like the video and click subscribe. It really helps YouTube algorithm to promote this video to others. And it helps me too. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye bye.